Gata, suntem live. Salut, 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 salut. Ia să mă aud. Ia să mă aud. Mă aud bine? Da, mă aud ok. Ia să mă aud. Mă aud bine? Da, mă aud ok.
Bun,
Ia să mă aud.
băieții,
Mă
așa
aud
o să
bine?
vorbesc,
Da,
pentru că, pentru că ai mei încă dorm și nu vreau să-i trezesc. Haideți până începe PGL-ul să jucăm un Counter-Strike. Bine, n-am promovat niciunde momentan, așa că n-are de unde să vină. Salutare băieții, salutare, salutare.
wish they were never born. Throwing fire. Grenade out. Grenade out. Terrorists win. Come on, chop chop. Smoke.
S-aude din nou? S-aude din nou? Mă aud eu foarte încet, dar ce fac? N-am ce să fac.
Remove any doubts in your head. It's us or them.
Bravo.
Grenade. Terrorists win. Bomb has been planted. Move it, move it. Terrorists win.
Da. Nice. Nice cod, bro.
Bomb has
Nice cod. N-ai ce să le faci.
Let's have it, lads. Terrorists win.
Doamne cât de prost e copilul ăsta. Doamne cât de prost e copilul ăsta.
Go, go, go. Counter-terrorists win. Run it to clear, lads. We must move.
A început mă PGL-ul. Nu, acum mai e mult. a scos 4 oameni și prost. Nu iau armură, ce prost.
Let's go, my brothers. Let's throw the flashbang. Grenade out.
Uite.
Counter-terrorists win. Move it. Smoke! Grenade!
Da bine, mă, hai. Hai, de cum nu-l bați?
Terrorists win. You will not die.
Așa, mă, SG și a... nu știu ce.
I'm ready.
Da, mă, joacă. Copil prost.
Together we can do this. Smoke! Let's throw a grenade! Grenade out! Throw in the flashbang! Counter-terrorists win.
Ce fac? Ce să fac? Am pierdut. Nicio șansă.
Go! Throw in smoke!
Uite, și acum a picat bine.
Flashbang! Terrorists win. Run, little girls, run!
Let's go, mă.
Move it! Grenade!
Ce mai frumos.
Terrorists win. We will definitely obey. This is what we have been working for.
Da, mă, 4
Let's throw the flashbang.
Voi sunteți treziți la 10? Cum era?
Throw in the flashbang. Counter-terror.
Da. Uite, tricuri în views, băi, și prost. Hai pe PGL. Ia uite. Și prost. Sunt șeful la astea.
meu.
Long clip. Maybe in long doors, but not sure.
One hold bomb. He's in B, I think, or lower.
Yeah, has to.
Bă, dar asta nu trebuie
De
să
morți, ia de spital
fie
ăsta.
director la PGL.
Ah,
I can find you, man. We better follow
Trebuie
back.
să fie la PGL. Da, măcar să începe. Ce să mai juc? Ah, Valentine frumos. Happy Valentine. Ce să ne jucăm? Așa, repede până începe și la PGL. Bă, nu HTML, mă. Să-ți Ce se întâmplă, mă? Chat. Mamă, Valorant. Vai de mine. Am gata, mă, l-am găsit. Bate, mă, băieții, AM. Bate, mă, AM, face ceva AM. Și că nu sunt meciuri. Ia. Uite, și prost 4 curent viewers? A, 10 și 15. Face Jaxi live la 10 și 15. Oh, pe atunci mai durează, mă. Mai durează ce? Mai durează ăștia, man.
La 10:30 încep meciurile. N-ai avut timp. 10:30. Cred că pun stream pe pauză dacă ești prost. Da, nu. Mai băgăm un meci de ăsta și o să fac ceva. Uite, că pe tot.
Let's roll. Are we rushing in? Or are we going sneaky beaky like?
Hello.
Move! Counter-terrorists win. Right, all right.
Vedem că se poate.
Come on, chop chop. Throwing a grenade. Terrorists win. Go. Grenade out. Laying down smoke. Terrorists win.
Da, mă, da. Mamă, că dacă fără de nu.
Move it, son. Counter-terrorists win. Now we're really laying into them. For Queen and Country, men. Throwing smoke.
Hai, da.
Incendiary out. Grenade out.
Bravo.
Grenade. Throwing fire. Counter-terrorists win. You're champion. Let's move out. Smoke. Throwing a grenade. Deploying flashbang.
Doamne.
Grenade. Counter-terrorists win. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Gear up. We aren't going on a windy walk. Throwing flashbang. Terrorists win. Come on, let's
Nu
go.
înțelege de Popchers. Iubesc. Ce faci, Ciors? Ai dormit bine?
Let us go.
Da, tu? Cu stresul. Am dormit bine și eu, da.
Counter-terrorists win.
Тиммейт, я с тобой больше не попадусь. Вот просто тиммейт.
Ești. Am avut stres mult, că îți dai seama.
Now is the time.
Da, măcar. Trebuie să termine meciul ăsta să fac PGL-ul, că nu mai pot. și...
Let's go, let's go!
Nu mai ieși și prost.
Planted.
Are și de la. A început, mă, PGL-ul. Și că la 10:30. Început.
Guys, I tell you, we kill them all!
major run at Budapest, beating Furia, who were, for many people, the favorites to win that major after they had just went off on a streak winning a major run at Budapest, beating Furia, who were, for many people, the favorites to win that major after they had just of titles, and so they really kind of punched above their weight, I think, for a lot of people. But I think Krakow is a bit of a reality check that yes, this is still a team that, while they have a great system, they have a lot of the ability to maybe be, you know, better than the sum of their parts, they are lacking in some areas, and they still aren't quite a true tournament contender at this level of tournament where you have all the big names available, but still always a fun team
Astralis, mamă, Navi.
to watch. And you just
Alexi B and Blade
Cine bate, mă? Dream finished? Ce-am făcut, mă? Mamă, dar prost sunt. What? Bă, mă aud?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the fact that Wonderful was really kind of ascending to the star level that Navi need him to be is where they looked exciting at the end of last year, but then he regressed. And so the fact that you can't point at one guy and say this guy is a guaranteed top 10 player for them this year makes me look to the future. When I'm looking at this Navi team, I feel like a lot of their ceiling is going to be held within what Makaze is able to do in terms of elevating his individual play, because he was a little rough around the edges. Sometimes he would be a little bit too aggressive in situations when he first joined the roster, but I feel like he's tempered some of that aggression. Now he understands a bit more of when he needs to pick his spots, and so I'm not sure if I'm seeing it every game, map to map, popping off the page like he's just found that consistency all the way through. But on average, I would say that I would guess that he's going to have a better game more times now than he did when he first joined the roster.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at his overall numbers, there is, some desire for more, right? I mean, especially when some of the other quote-unquote rookies of last year kind of outshine him. I mean, you've put Maladoy aside, the rookie of the year, who was just a phenom, but, Kiyosuke, your PR, like these guys were kind of, overshadowing Makaze, who was in a similar position, just rising up to tier 1. And again, the overall output hasn't been there, but I will say he's at least gotten better in his main role, which is creating openings. I think last year the guy was really struggling to have any opening success on the T side, to get entries, to create space for his team. But at Krakow, he actually did step up finally and have those big openings. Again, his overall numbers won't leap off the page from Krakow, but the fact that he was able to have really good entry stats definitely did help the team at least have some opportunities to have success.
There's lots of question marks around this Navi roster, and there's also lots of question marks around the next roster we're going to take a look at. Astralis going international. I'm going to say it, when they announce this, I kind of like what we're seeing. I don't think that this was a bad move from them. I actually think it was probably the only move they could make.
Well, the negative aspect of this move is that they are disowning the full 5-man Danish lineup, which people regarded so highly in the country. But in reality, this is a better lineup. I would say that Ryu is a clear upgrade over Magisk. Fozy is a direct upgrade over Device, even though that might shock some people if they're just tuning in on an Astralis game for their first time in a while. This guy looks like he's really ready to go head-to-head with some of the best operas in the world and find openers that they so desperately needed last time. So there's a lot of reasons for me to be much more excited about this team than in the previous season, where it was just so obvious that a lot of them were on cruise control, not just talking Tom Cruise control, but I mean, they were just kind of going with the flow. You kind of expect them to be around the 10th best in the world and never really punching up into some deep placement at a tournament. Whereas this roster, on the other hand, you catch them in a good form streak and they really have an opportunity to make a playoff berth here.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Fuzi. I mean, this is a guy who I think was stuck in a really tough place on what has been one of the most dysfunctional organizations in CS, which is Wildcard. So to see him be able to escape that tragedy and actually be on a team that allows him to play at the tier 1 level consistently, to really show what type of player he actually is. And I think he's definitely one that's great, but the rifling core is also what's going to be most important. When we look at Yabby, fantastic Krakow performance, overall horrendous 2025. So we need to see which version of himself is going to go on throughout the course of this year. But then Ryu, Maui already kind of hit on him, but I want to hit on him more. This is a guy that showed a lot of promise when he was on Monty last year. Like when he was playing some of those smaller LAN events on that team, he looked sharp. He looked like a guy who deserved a chance like this one. And, Ryu certainly played very well at Krakow, in my opinion. More of like an anchor, more of like an extremity player. So he's not super flashy, but honestly, Maui, what I was most impressed by with him was even when he is in like those quote unquote like traditional lurker positions, the guy can create openings. Like he'll lead a B tunnels hit on Dust 2. He'll get in the mix on some of these other things, on Overpass, for example, and actually take some entries at times. And he looked really sharp at Krakow.
He's limit testing, and it actually is paying off for Astralis, because sometimes him on one side or Yabby on the other, I mean, they've got these guys who are willing to just find openings. If they feel like there's not enough utility being used in their faces, they'll take a 1v1 duel on a bomb site just because they think that there's an opportunity. And that kind of stuff is really exciting. I would liken Ryu right now probably to somebody like Heavy God, actually.
Yeah,
I feel like
comparison.
He's one of those underrated positions, what we used to see more as a support role, but he's just getting so much mileage out of it. He's getting so much more than you would expect. So I'm really excited about it. And I'll even say, I think Heavy God makes better decisions overall, but I feel like Ryu, mechanically, this dude is incredibly sharp. The aim and correction between targets is just so ridiculous. When he's defending a bomb site, even if there's all this utility flying around him, so frequently he gets the second kill just because he insta-bullets the second guy that he sees.
There is a bigger picture sort of conversation that has to happen around Astralis, and it is the legacy of what Astralis is, the legacy that this organization has. They are a organization and a name that you presume would be aspiring to lift trophies. Is this lineup the list of players that lifts trophies, or are we going to start seeing Astralis sitting more in the sort of gamer legion space of every so often you'll see them rise up, but they're never really going to be in playoff contention?
I think there is a realistic chance that Astralis will be a team that could at least get kind of towards the top 8 of the world rankings. As far as breaking into the top 5, I don't see it. not yet at least. Again, I think we saw some promising things out of Ryu and Fuzi at Krakow. I think that, Huxi still is a leader that has value. There are definitely some pieces there, but I just don't know if it's quite enough to contend for titles or be in that top 5 world ranking status.
Just being realistic about it, the thing that is, to me, capping Astralis, unfortunately, is probably the guy that we were singing the most praises about in the last year and a half with the team. I look at a guy like Stair, where every single season, he has practically the same rating. If you look at his first 6 months with Astralis, he had something around a 1.07. You look at his next 6 months after he changed some spots, practically the same rating. But now he has all of the star positions, and he still has that same rating. And that's not really what you're looking for a guy that gets to be in the head-to-head versus the best riflers in the world. When Donk's charging at you, do I really want Stair to be that first line of defense? Not exactly. So he needs to find a way to jump up in form and maybe even be a little bit more selfish, because I can still recognize in the mid-rounds, he's being a great team player. He's being this guy that'll know how he needs to entry first so that his teammates can trade off of him. But in some ways, I actually wish he was a little bit more selfish, because it doesn't always feel like he's demanding the resources that his position should be commanding.
I agree 100%. And I think the biggest thing for me is the T-sides aren't there for me. He plays those aggressive rifling positions where you either want him to be able to create an entry or trade off the back of Huxi or something along those lines. But they're kind of relying more on Yabby and Ryu to find openings for them lately. Like, I don't think Stair's had that entry success that other star entries have had. And so I think you're spot on that call.
Let's take a look at what the map veto is going to be. Obviously, a little bit difficult for us. We know a lot of what we can expect from Navi, but this Astralis lineup still kind of new. We don't really know what their map pool looks like.
I will say the one thing that really hurts them in this veto right away is they've looked so damn good on Overpass that it's been clearly their pocket pick map throughout Krakow, and they are not going to get to play it in this. It is a permaban for Navi. So the fact that, like you said, you're limited on what knowledge is out there, but you do know that you have this one thing that you can rely upon, and to not be able to utilize it in the series is definitely going to force Astralis to kind of show us more elsewhere in the pool.
I feel like they go with Nuke. It's the other thing that I've been seeing them go for on picks, and yeah, okay, so they do bust that one out. On the other hand, for Navi, I mean, it's just been the story of them for the last 2 years. They go with Mirage practically every single time that they see it in the pool. I feel like Ancient could be the decider for this series, and so I would expect that the vetoes go to play that one out as the third map here. But I feel like Dust already kind of talked about the main issue with going into this series when you're Astralis. You lose your favorite map. Nuke, Navi, there are no slouches on that one in general, and it does look like the decider will, in fact, be Ancient, yeah.
The one thing I'm worried about with Nuke, though, as that is going to be the first map we're going to be heading into, is that Navi have lost their last 8 out of 11 games on Nuke. They have not looked good results-wise on Nuke. I think they have in the past been able to show some good signs on it, but that was some time ago. If you're looking at more recent, you look at kind of the last 3 months of last year coming into this year, it hasn't been there for them in the same way. And it's definitely something that, I think Astralis were smart to pick into this as a potential punish. I think that maybe they could see something there, some weakness in Navi's Nuke lately.
The two IGLs, when you put them head to head, I mean, I suppose, Maui, you've already said it. You're an Alexi B believer, but how does Huxi call in comparison?
I still feel like Huxi is actually a really solid IGL, but it's just that I'm not sure if the brain trust, if I go Blade and Alexi versus Rugga and Huxi, I'm going to be ever siding with Huxi and Rugga, even though we've already pinned them as being a team that could probably reach, say, the playoffs of this event. Navi team is kind of one that is looking to play spoiler once you reach those playoffs. So a lot of that's off of the back of Alexi being able to, in the middle of a half, change up if an offense isn't working. Whereas Huxi, on the other hand, sometimes it feels like they get a little bit tunnel visioned on a certain idea or way they want to play. But I've seen good T-sides from Huxi. I'm not actually even trying to downplay what he's provided for this team on Overpass, on Nuke lately. There have been a lot of great stretches where he's able to come up with solutions on the fly. But sometimes I feel like it's also to the extremity players. Sometimes the lurkers just find answers, and then but he knows at least how to mid-round off of those kinds of picks, even if it ends in a 4v4.
Yeah, I mean, I think another key matchup you always have to watch out for on Nuke is going to be the guys we were kind of already talking about a little bit. That is Stair, and that is going to be Makazi on the other side. These are your guys that are your front runners in a very important position on the map in the yard. And they're going to be clashing time and time again throughout this game. And I think what value comes out of that duel is probably going to determine a lot of how this game shapes, as well as, this is another big test for Fuzi. He passed a lot of tests for me in Krakow with the AWP against some elite level teams, but this is another squad where you're up against a guy on Wonderful who's a veteran. He's a guy that obviously had a fantastic Budapest major, obviously inverse at Krakow, but you feel like he's going to eventually average somewhere in the middle. and it's still a worthy adversary for Fuzi to test his limits against as well. But this matchup right here on your screen, I think is going to dictate the pace of this game.
Is it can you say that it's quite an evenly paired matchup here, or is Navi far superior?
Well, it feels like we're getting Astralis on the rise right now, whereas Navi aren't able to build off of the momentum they were carrying into the winter break. So this might be the perfect time for a team like Astralis to catch a big win here, to take down a Navi team that seems to be reeling off of being unable to find the form that gave them the success they had at the tail end of last year. So I think we're meeting right in the middle here, and so this game is a bit more of a coin flip than I would have said 2 months ago.
I mean, I think Navi are a little bit more battle tested, obviously. Yeah, Makaze still has a lot of, question marks around him because he really didn't have any LAN experience at a top level until he played Cologne when he stepped onto this Navi team in the second season of last year. Whereas with Ryu and Fuzi, they are still very young in their careers, much more so removed from being at this level. So, yes, you like Navi as the favorite just due to the veteranship that's on that team, the fact that they have more reps together as a full five, and the fact that Astralis, when you're cycling in 2 brand new players and really your only, I guess data you have is like what you had in practice in the offseason and what you saw at Krakow. It's a little bit harder to know how it's going to go, but I am excited for their new players to prove themselves at this event.
This is going to be a really exciting matchup, and it's a great way to start PGL Cluj. For me, if we take a look at the tournament overall, though, it must be going through the back of Navi's mind, Astralis' mind. This is the first hurdle, but holy hell, you've got Vitality, you've got Furia, you've got all of these big teams that you're going to have to get through if you want to find yourself in playoffs. It really is a true test for any team here as to where they currently stand in the world rankings.
It's also a thing with Navi is they elected not to make a change there in this offseason. And I think you could have easily had the debate that they should have. They should have maybe considered making a change.
Who would you have changed?
That's the interesting question. I think having a more powerful entry force could have been huge for them. And I don't know if that is, replacing Makaze, replacing Ima. I think you could go a couple different, options.
You can't replace Ima when you're going to Romania, though.
Yeah, of course.
You got to let him play this one in Cluj with him.
Yeah, I'm just thinking
they weren't even here last time.
I'm just thinking long term. To me, Navi just feels like an upgraded version of 3D Max, where it's like they are constantly a team that can, be just outside the playoffs, maybe make a playoffs appearance here and there, and they do have the tactics and the strategic structure to be a very fundamentally sound team, but they just don't have enough overall firepower to go toe-to-toe with the likes of the Vitality, with the likes of, Falcons, or, some of these other mouse sports who are fantastic in those regards by having a lot of widely distributed talent. They just don't have that same level. And I think that is going to create a ceiling. No matter how well you approach the game, you do still have to shoot people in the head enough times to get victories.
Simply put, the elite teams right now all have their Zywoo, Moldoy, Monacy, Donk, what have you. Whereas you point at Navi and that it has to be this team effort. Like back when they were the team of the year in 2024, there was really no superstar on the team. I mean, JL was their highest ranked player on HLTV, but nobody's looking to him to just hard carry them through series. It was because they were outbraining their opponents, and that's what can get them so far. But now that some of those elite teams have caught up to CS2 mechanics and the meta, teams like Vitality and Fury, who are really on the ball when it comes to tactics, you need somebody to step up. And that's why I would pin Wonderful towards the tail end of last year. I thought he was going to make the leap. And so if he's able to do that at Cluj, then you finally have a serious win condition. Because reminder, when they played Vitality at Budapest, Wonderful was the best player in that series. So he has shown the potential before, but it's just not day to day. You're not getting that every single series that he loads up into.
Consistency is lacking in Navi. Astralis is on the rise. We'll find out how this matchup goes down. We are kickstarting PGL Cluj. Scorny and Launders are ready to take you into game.
Yes, thank you, Sam. Thank you, gentlemen. Excellent little pregame there. Good back and forth, Mo, and I think this one's got upset written all over it. I think that the desk put it very aptly. This is kind of the rise of Astralis at the moment, and you're looking at a Navi that they've got a solid head-to-head over top of, and the chance to just kind of shine out of the gate here in Cluj.
Yeah, that's one thing I think was missed a little bit. It's 3 wins for Astralis, not the same Astralis, but as Maui pointed out, it's probably a better Astralis. I think that we look at Astralis' last attempt to try to fill this roster full Danish, having Magisk, having Device on the roster, and going away from that because they just feel like there are no more options. Well, they come in with Fuzi, they come in with Ryu, and at Krakow, they really impressed.
So can they do it again with the nuke pick and kicking off on the T side? Hooksy Drop it over top.
Ia să vedem ce face.
A lot of rumblings here, and Ema was ready to just sit inside of the smoke and wait this out. Pressure inside of the A play, no other defenders really to stop it. Sure, bit of presence over towards Heaven, but because of that Molotov, no peek into the bomb site, and we've got an Astralis bomb down 4v4.
Very fast.
We've got this big group up as well inside of Heaven already, so clear idea for the retake, but the shots aren't going to get hit from the retake itself. It's a good hold immediately, and then Bit starts storming the lobby. Door swing makes this one a little bit awkward, and Wonderful's going to pick up a kill in the meantime, but Ryu's got it. A little tap onto the bomb to try to add some late pressure for the clutch. Ooh, squeaky swing just a half second after Wonderful was ready, and that bomb plant's gonna net Astralis a pistol round win.
You really love to see a quick bomb plant. You love to see the door games there by Stair. Everything's pretty perfect in terms of how fast they went and how coordinated they looked all the way to the end. So it's a lot of pressure back here on Navi, who are looking for a fast start. Nuke is also, it kind of has the makings of what could be the worst map of the day, Connor, because this is not a good map for Navi right now. It's a terrible map for Astralis right now. And at Krakow, it was the maps famously Astralis got the 0T round, so they're already past that.
And we call that progress around here.
Yeah. Basically, they're the team right now that are like, if we don't win a T-pistol, we're not beating our own Nuke stats. So they've already at least done that. It just helps out so much for them in this first half.
Ryu waiting for the peek over top. And Ema. Again, that smoke up close. Worried that there's players behind it. Not the case. We're going to get this active Navi move into the trophy room, but just as active on the other end of all this. Ryu taking a look in through Heaven. So the lobby push moves forward from the A side as well. Navi taking space as they know that backline's under threat. A lot of posturing going on, but no triggers just yet as we hit 45 seconds.
So a few very small timings here for Jabby from above. Obviously Wonderful sitting here. Oh,
there
what a shot.
Deagle kicks it off. Fuzi finds the return. Wonderful through the smoke spam. Drops Hooksy. Oh,
he's not done
again.
yet.
What? That's just 2 kills straight up through smoke. Wonderful with perfect timing. 4 players survive, and Navi take this one right back.
We're looking at Wonderful in the lobby, staring up to the T roof. And clearly he was waiting for any small peek. Taking out Jabby there, 1 peek, dead.
I didn't hear frag grenades, I heard nothing.
That's nasty.
Just spamming away on smoke. Well then.
Happy.
Now Astralis with this economy, sweating bullets, have to buy in, scouting deagles across the board. Ooh, you said 1 round was better than what they were able to pull off back at Krakow, but
that one I feel bad about because that was still recoverable if not for the smoke shots.
Sure.
But now that it doesn't matter. Oh.
Okay, all right. This is what we're doing. This is how we're starting. This is how it's going to go. We got Deegs on both sides, folks. Buckle in.
That was something brought up on the desk as well, that Ryu can come through and go for it and get entry sometimes. So this is just a great move here for Navi, for Ema to come and re-clear outside as soon as he feels like it's a bluff, that there's not actually pressure. It's it's kind of the winning move, you would think, for Navi in this spot. They're going to go ahead and reinforce the ramp. They are adequately stacked upstairs. The only one thing is that they're down to 4. So no matter how you flip it, they're always going to be a little bit more insecure. The T's have the advantage of being able to go for a pack play and get a lucky couple of entries back to back. Navi have to think about that. And an interesting call to actually expand back outside. I mean, this might be a good read on what Navi would normally do. It's kind of lovely to see. It's actually just in time. It's like just in time for this to still make sense.
Gun to pick up in the process. Smoke grenade.
A Galil, let's see what it can do.
Gonna get left behind for only that extra second. Wonderful. Finding another clean kill. questions about the individual level of Navi coming into this game on the desk, but Wonderful's picking up easy shots from the Desert Eagle to the hold from Heaven to now converting that force buy for the 2-1 lead.
Yeah, mentally, if you're Astralis, you just have to look at your pistol as just like a round on the board, not a pistol with a following loss, because I think they might not expect to get, you know, a huge T side in general, but a round is a round essentially. So, and as for Navi, well, they've got to be feeling great, and it's always funny with him because last year, you know, we saw him, you know, get ingratiated by the crowd, and we saw how much he was loved here. And I think Navi weren't playing, and they skipped the event, but he still came, which was great.
Yeah.
But now is a chance for him on stage.
Back's turned, made easy for Makaze. 3 kills all he's going to find with the Glock entry from Hooksy, but again, that Glock entry is all that Astralis get to play from. So from the pistol victory, the high to kick this off, to what feels like a real low now. They've got no footing in the door over the course of the last 2 rounds. No bomb plant over the last 3. It is 4 survivors in every single CT round as well. And so this bodes well for the kickoff for the defense.
Yeah, that intangible of momentum. Navi have a grasp of that right now, so let's see here what the call's going to be. Utility's a little lower than they like, so Navi should expect them to move a bit more quickly.
They want to take that test towards ramp, but met by frags, that's fine.
Oh, that's interesting. They got bit down really quickly before his connection could come into Turnpike.
Flash out, and Rio's taking this pretty quick space.
Yeah, you see the call out, right? Doesn't even clear Rops.
Yeah.
He just knows they're open, that they've just immediately having to fall back. There's a lot of space that's been taken. That's actually pretty impressive here for Astralis.
Sometimes you're like a second or two just a bit further behind those utilities, but not this time. Although with the timing, it's that headshot. See you later, Wonderful. Not the easiest kill there for Bit off the MP9, but he gets his instant recovery.
Big info, though.
Ooh, that's awkward. Hooksy finds Emet up in the corner, and he's allowed to dislodge himself back into the bomb site, so he'll escape Hooksy's wrath for the time being. Hooksy brings teammates back over. They group up slightly outside of this A site, trying to tether off of Stair. He takes a look up towards Heaven, doesn't see it. Emet, eyes on this main play as utilities keep trickling into the right position. Makaze finds Fuzi in the process, and then Jabby's gonna strike one down from Hut. Alexi's done a good job of trying to dodge this threat, but eventually gets found out on the pinch. 1v3 here for Bit, and he spots out all the bodies, but the cover's great from Stair. And that squeeze that Astralis have been trying to play with round after round comes to fruition in the 5th.
That's pretty lovely, man. I mean, I like the complexion of the call because they have low utility. They get all the map control they can for the least amount of grenades. They throw the early molly down the ramp, get Bit to rotate, and then call it out by sneaking into ramp. Navi don't expect them to even try this. They come in to try to re-clear it, but they don't think that Astralis have actually pushed because they didn't throw any lurk smoke. They didn't double flash it. They just kind of made it feel like they got the rotation out and they're going to reset. But Astralis had plans to move forward, and they did that really well.
Looking to maybe stifle the amount of space that the T's have been able to take, and that shot from Wonderful will do exactly what they needed. Hooksy tries to spam back over, now looking to scramble over towards the secret spacing, but, God, uncertainty here.
Wait, how did that miss? That looked so good, but that's a huge pickup for Ryu.
Dude, the back and forth between thinking about secret to then just diving back behind red. I thought for certain that Astralis were going to get caught in that moment, but a beautiful shot out of Ryu, and it's going to take it back. Under pressure with that wonderful op that somehow the bullet disappears. It's felt like a round where Astralis kind of caught off. But sometimes Hooksy, in the mess of it all, comes out with the right variation. So now this move back into the lobby with numbers strong, and yeah, missed timing's gonna just give Hooksy an easy run into the bomb site. Makaze one and done. Alexi off of Hut, dealt back. And so we've got a clutch on our hands on 13 HP. This 1v2 damn near done. But Ryu's going to try to bait it out.
And Bit's not playing this one fast. He's assuming that Ryu knows exactly where he is. Ryu's trying to bait out some movement. Thinking about this. Wow, he pulled that off. He ran quickly towards Hut. Bit was confused exactly what he had tried to do. And that was excellent. I wonder what was going through Bit's mind there.
Right? Stomping like that? Thinking what? He had sprinted into the commitment at the back of the site.
Yeah, he must have just kind of misread exactly which direction it was going, but Ryu baited that out perfectly.
Well then.
Damn. I mean, look at the HP. It had to be a headshot. It had to be a bait. And that's his court IQ on display. Like, you see moments from Ryu, and there's even small ones, like when he went to clear ramp last round, not assuming there was a guy in the corner, just going off of what he believed was the right information. And even though he's not an entry, this is something that's really important for entries, is that you don't pick and clear every single spot. Anyone can do that. You've got to pick like 2 or 3 positions you're pretty sure they're in, and then hope they're there, and you have lots of confidence in those clears. So, wow, lots of good moments for Ryu, man, at the beginning and ends of rounds.
Oh, test to Navi's defense now. Money all on the line. Again, trying to deal with that potential threat beyond these smokes. Variation in the smokes played here by the attackers. Astralis go for just the simple straight wall. We see Mikaze moving around on the other side of it. One down into secret. That looming threat's going to pull Ima downstairs.
They're really punishing Navi for not protecting outside a little bit more.
He's going to try to test main.
Oh, this is already over. He's got to have Alexi stop this now. He's down to no HP.
Woo! Look at this sea of flames that Alexi has to play behind. Single point of health, all he had to hold with. That's never going to happen. And so the 5 versus 3 pieced together meticulously off that timing in through main. Stairs ready to even further punish.
It's a round-winning entry out of Hooksy, and one stat coming into the game we got out of production was that Hooksy's KD for the last 3 months on this map is like 0.55.
Hell
so,
yeah.
yeah. So that also contributes to the problems of Astralis, even though they keep wanting to play Nuke, how much they're struggling on it. It's a tale as old as time with Hooksy, where, you know, we even look at this game and you see excellent calls. You see great organization on T side. You see that he's activating another opper who you know, would have not really heard about otherwise. And, but yet there's still, you know, his individual heaviness, if I could put it like that, that sort of can sometimes hold the team back. But if that's something that's different in this game, well, then they have everything else.
The timing of all this also just felt pristine out of Astralis.
His individual weight, is that the PC way to say it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
He's got some heft.
Well, quick back to it again. Just making the most of this outer play. Once again, multiple bodies, you know, they kind of felt like, remember that one round they tried to cross over and then scrambled back, that uncertainty that's been kind of in their minds about taking it to secret. Well, with, again, this continuation of their success, this time they actually do decide to test downstairs. But curiously, this is when we've got an M4 thrown over towards the staircase in Ima's hands, coupled with Mikaze's smoke primed to be thrown in front of it. But it's good procedures. Again, the utility here well placed out of Astralis, and then they will call it quits once more.
And they could have a double spot downstairs and not see anything, and because it can stay here jumping, but it doesn't benefit Navi to have 2 down here unless this ends up being a lower play. They're not going to be easy rotations upstairs, and so they've got to make moves. Nice shot from Bit.
Finds the response back at least, but that's a wonderful dead, right? So one of the guns on the ground for the time being.
Another tag here from Bit.
Makaze is going to get cleared out, but we are just still with eyes on Ime. Rifle in hand, trying to turn this back around. Bit finds a Desert Keel from the back of sight. And then some body damage on it. Bit is 3 kills into this round, and he's not going to get the help he needs yet. Further damage on for the ace. And as Hooksy is able to wrap back around sight, that is further damage done. Looking for his own 3K. And that looming threat of the Ime rifle that was allowed to creep from downstairs now soon enough up into heaven.
And we'll see where the molly goes and if Hooksy's ever going to clear heaven, because he's been worried about everything else.
The timing of the walkout's perfection, and Bit's endeavors don't go down in vain. 4 kills inside of that A site, kicks it off with an outer frag, does it all on his own, and a putt in from Ime to take this lead.
Yeah, it's another round to pair with Wonderfuls earlier on this game that Astralis have to stomach. This was supposed to be the freebie. They were actually still moving quite nicely. Again, this is not a round where they stacked. It's one where they had 2 downstairs, 3 upstairs, and it was just Bit to get 4.
Not letting Astralis run away with it, tied off. Lead in the air. And in this case, it's not, like that. It's not those 3 instant headshot Deagle kills out of Bit either. It's a bit of a labored effort, but, what do you chalk that up to? A few unideal shots from Astralis, or Bit just really positioning correctly, getting away with the spam?
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Critical round for that to be pulled out by Navi, considering that it was a couple saves. Desert Eagles for the rest. Smoke wall once more, but if you think you're going to get downstairs like you did last round with free space, you will meet that wonderful AWP. The other question is, where does Fosies go?
Looks like another strong call, man, because see how light ramp is right now with the secret play? This is what Navi should be worried about. But Bit's got to stop this, and he's done an excellent job. That's 1 clean pickoff and a fallback.
Just chops Jabby off the play. Hooksy starts to stampede downstairs. Remember, Wonderful Zop was ready, but Fuzi on the angle, ready to counterpick. Smoke onto the single door. Ime could challenge double, and there's no coverage. Bomb's gonna be dropped in the middle of the room. Ime comes back with another one, and still worried about secret, but knowing there's a player inside of that site, they won't forget about Stairs' threat. Ryu goes down with nothing, and Ime able to make the most of it. They didn't anticipate the double doors, Mo.
That's the first time I think Astralis got really messy. Even though they've lost these 2 Deagle rounds, I feel like those were kind of taken from them. Great shots, minimizing presence, but this one, it's like they tried to go too speedily into lower after they got this first kill. And remember, it was only 1 back. Of course, Bit got the first frag, so it was still a position of power here for Navi. Rotations were still on their side, and even though they weren't inside the site already, Wonderful going down, I think Astralis had to be a bit more afraid of an extra guy.
Suddenly,
it's like maybe don't plant open, and if you do, watch the thing it can be planted for. So,
And it's like, sure, the 2 players crossing over on the ledge were looking towards the door, but you've got a sitting duck planting right in front of it. So now they're going to try with the pistol pop beyond Makaze's angle. Easy cleanup as far as he's concerned. Wonderful's on the scene, all's good, and we're back into that realm where Navi are going to find themselves with a commendable half. That sick recovery off of the Bit 4K Desert Eagle is then worth this round, a potential follow-up after this one as well. The door is open for Navi to still shut this down 8-4.
Yeah, Astralis just don't want to end on a bad note, because the rounds they've got have actually been excellent. And Navi have kind of stolen this half away from them, and Astralis know that. But none of that will matter, because Astralis, they don't have a lot of confidence on Nuke at the moment, even though, again, they run into it very consistently. It's just not one they're winning on.
Next he finds Jabby, 5v4, sudden pop back out through the hut, and you've got a couple kills for Astralis to move in on. They stall for a second, Bit sliding into the corner as far as he can, goes for the punish smoke, and Fuzi's got the trade back. That's gonna confirm another one out there. Wonderful actually commits down to the bomb site, slides off. Bomb possession belongs to the CTs for the time being, sitting in the open floor. Stairs able to get the most of that, and now Wonderful walking the offer. The collateral was there, but not needed. Deagle to close, and so slides into the open. High pressure moment, hits all the shots he has to.
Yeah, another highlight there for Wonderful, and that is brutal for Astralis. That feels like a guaranteed trade situation, but he basically couldn't have played it better. With how deep he went on the peak, second guy wasn't ready, thought it'd be some kind of heaven fight. No, he was ahead of the game. One more round, and this is actually just a total tragedy for Astralis. They start out with a pistol win. They win 3 other rounds that are super solid. They do good on map control. They've gotten ramp every single time they've tried to take it for free. They've gotten down to bomb plants. Their upper pops have actually looked solid up until the point. And so I think it's just it'd be a bitter end if they don't pick up this last round. But also just what you'd expect from Wonderful. I mean, his moments and since the major have just been lights out. So many good maps.
Pop on timing, Bit gets bested.
Yeah, they're doing great on ramp, and this is the first time Bit just goes down straight up.
It's been nice to be able to tap into Ryu's abilities to entry like this.
And now they're right, they can speed up for sure.
Stair catches a kill on Makaze, 5 versus 3, looking like a comfortable place to close out this half if you are Astralis. Make it even more comfortable. Stair's just doing his own thing. E-Man tries to go deal with him, but that Galil is thriving in this round. Just waiting until the final round of the T-side to sprinkle in his biggest multi-kill yet. A triple for Stair, working entirely alone throughout this round. We're all frazzled with the attack down into the lower bomb site, but it's actually Stair who winds up doing the heavy lifting.
Yeah, no, Wonderful's just not even going to really try this. Just going to look for kills.
Last round of the half, so he better.
Yeah.
Get in there. And so it closes with a 5th. One for the road for Astralis to maybe feel a little bit better. You get the pistol, you get 3 rounds smack dab in the center of that T side, and then you end it with at least that 5th.
I do think mentally that does make up for some stuff that's happened. I think like I would just be pissed off. Sure. I would just be pissed off if I watched how those, you know, like a lot of times you might tune in and be like, oh, it's an 8-4 half for Navi, they stomped them. But no, actually, it looked like Astralis actually, I think they just should have had a lead in this half straight up. Like they lost key rounds. They lost rounds where they were going to make lots of money. They lost rounds that they would have built momentum off of. And then who knows what happens from there. So I think you could see it on Hooksy's face last round, but they took it on the chin. They win an eco of their own. And now that just makes this game competitive. And it's actually 5 rounds T-side is fine. I think the pressure isn't necessarily back on Navi. They got to be quite happy about their individual level. And I think one thing that's very cool for Navi is that a guy like Wonderful, you know, this many years in is like apparently getting better. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes you see a good peak from a player that ends up being a veteran. They're still young, but they don't actually improve.
Right.
Whereas it looks like there might be a new ceiling here for a guy like Wonderful, and that's awesome because I think the only thing that stopped him from having that ceiling is that he's always just been too scared to go for it. And I think he's maintained some of his same personality, but just gotten more output, at least in the last couple months. And maybe too scared isn't the right word, but he's always had to get set up to go for moves.
Sure.
He doesn't really do it himself.
Yep.
Like, you know, maybe Fuzi might be a nice contrast to him in that regard, but
Kaze is going to start leading this climb up into heaven. Hooksy's going to have a challenge on his hands. No denying that. 2 players back on Garage. Makaze brings Bit to the party with him.
yeah, Hooksy's only like loosely worried about this.
Now that flashback's going to give him something to be concerned about. CT's trying to make moves down beneath this, but just instantly deleted with the shoulder there from Makaze. So see you later, Hooksy, calling from the sidelines. And you may have lobby if you are Astralis, but Navi taking a chunk out of that A bomb site and still taking their sweet time to finish off this round.
Yeah, I mean, getting into lobby, you know, on a rifle, it's like worst case situation. You want to take it back over, maybe try to retake. But, you know, you're not getting around to heaven, not with 2 guys down here. Getting back in through Hut's going to be the spot they expect. So, could be damned if you do. And Navi will actually take it one step further. They're going towards lower.
You might find Stare, so they win the battle of the lurking as well. And they'll charge it down yonder Gonder. Jabby's going to try to make a move towards double. 15 on the clock. Ooh, tries to dive it. Not going to find anything whatsoever. If Astralis were feeling good about winning that last round of the first half, it's going to be a sinking feeling in their stomach unless they can do what was done to them. A force buy to come through in the next to try to upend this early Navi T-side start. But a very clean pistol, and of course what you'd expect from Navi. Very meticulous, clean approach, let Mikaze get his entry, and then even still don't rush the whole ordeal. Move it down to the opposite bomb site. I mean, talk about working the body in this pistol for Navi.
Yeah, and I think some teams can definitely be too quick with it, and like Navi are in a spot where, you know, the odds in my head are like, oh, they're like 55-45 in this position. Then they get the kill on Hooksy. Okay, they're like 65. They can go upper, but they see that no one's flanking them on ramp. So they know that Astralis are not game planning for it or going for that lobby wrap. Then they decide, let's make this into a 90-10. Let's take it down lower. And Navi know how to be comfortable in those positions, and I think that's one of their main strengths. In those positions, and I think that's one of their main strengths.
Man, that round history right now on screen, that does just kind of paint a bleak picture of a game that's going to be like, damn, we could have had it, but it just escaped us every time if this pistol gets converted. And excuse me, it wasn't actually a force back for Astralis, so they're not going to try what Navi did. They're willing to just try to get to the gun rounds, and I feel like that could just genuinely be a symptom of the way the game has gone so far. You know you had your chances. You feel like you're playing well enough to win, but you just don't have all the tools for the job. So maybe don't rush the process. Don't bank on this force victory to just let Navi pull further ahead in case the Deagles don't come through. Very scholarly approach to round 14.
Hoping for that more drawn-out round that ends up being a wrap so they can catch someone off, but there will be no such play here. This could be a farm round for Wonderful to really cap off what was already a great half.
Ooh. Well, you're not supposed to be finding these frags, but why not? Ooh, chance for another as well. Galil's going to get a little wild in the hands of Wonderful. They don't decide to just sprint downstairs. They take a look at that gun, trying to make sure that nothing can be stolen by Astralis, and it seems like it's worked well. Unless Ryu could come through with another one. Hooksy gets found out on the flank. USP down here by the window. And it's been found out and dealt with. So still majority alive for Navi. Solid conversion, but really, again, no threat with USPs in hand. And so we take a look at the next buy. Not even one player kind of breaking through that $5,000 point for Astralis. But they wanted this full purchase now. It's scary when you look at the scoreboard of Astralis. We haven't really brought it up, but 4-11 is Jabby, 4-12 is Hooksy. But that's about par for his course. It's really Fuzi who I think has kind of left some slack out there for his teammates to try to pick up. We'll see if now CT side can be the birth of his comeback within this map. Fast pressure, though, out of the utility from Navi, and willing to step up into that threat is Stare. He goes toe-to-toe with Mikaze, bests him, dies to Alexi, and we get a 4 versus 4 out of the gate on Astralis' terms.
Yeah, it's a real audacious play there, but well supported with the flash. And you know that Navi are going to try to make him sweat a little bit. You see how low Astralis are on utility options. Gabby. No nades.
Ahead of that smoke.
Oh, yeah. That was smart.
Even spacing's great. Jabby's position will catch them off, but he is locked in now and still able to get himself that second. Bad timing on the Molotov pull. Ryu tries to go out wide, and that's going to cost him. There is damage done, though, on both of these players. It's a queued up clutch for Fozy, and he's going to find Bit first, but caught by Wonderful. Perfect challenge on the side of that one to find him in the open.
Didn't he know? He knew that someone was squeaky side, right? And there's actually a couple of small moments communication-wise. Astralis on that lower round where Hooksy got shot in the back from Imma after they didn't defend the bomb plant. Couple of these moments, I do wonder sometimes if we would ask Astralis, if they say this is communication, this has been brought up, and I don't think it's something to harp on strongly because Hooksy's called for international lineups before, but not everyone's played on international teams together. I think this would be, so I don't know, where that comes out, but
Where
it's
the
one or two
breakdown
small words
happens, right?
sometimes. Yeah.
Sure.
I think actually Hooksy said that it was Yabby. Sometimes he doesn't realize he's speaking in Danish when he thinks he's saying a word in English, and just one small thing, and then maybe, from what you're used to, a really important gap gets missed. They said it was improving. I don't think this is one of the teams where it's going to be a massive issue.
Right.
But I see a couple of moments where I'm like, communication, is it perfect right now?
Yeah, it's clearly just caught by that. Shame, too, because that's the gun round that Astralis were banking on, making this game actually competitive. Now scout in hand. Ooh, chance at the top side, low frag, but drop down to 65 health. He'll try to keep that pressure on. And Makaze is going to be a beast off a leash, I think, in this one. Just kind of sensing that the threat's over here, that these pistols are now pinned in behind minimal cover. He's looking to tear through what remains of Astralis.
Navi just look like they're in their comfort zone now. They've just got such a huge lead. They're establishing dominance here on this safe. And Fuzi will get maybe one more chance at a shot here with this scout.
Yeah, don't skip protocols. Keep it clean, and you'll find it out in the open. And so Ryu, stuck with just the pistol, somehow bounces back with a double. That's the bomb. And if he had gotten the third, it's bomb possession, a 1v5 attempt.
And the bomb would have just like jumped right into the window.
Of course, it would have just trickled over. It would have been one of those moments where Navi then starts to beat them. It would have been a very Navi situation, would it not? But instead, it's an 11th round. It's a flawless T-side so far. It's another majority alive situation for Navi. 2 rounds away from handing Astralis their second nuke loss. That's all it's going to take.
And Navi right before Budapest were just not good. And then at Budapest, they showed us they're Navi. When push comes to shove, they know how to win. They know how to be good. You don't always get a strong game like this out of them right off the bat, but that might be a new trend. They 3-0'd their first stage of the major, right?
Navi?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were the team that, like, all the other rosters were predicting to just kind of go through flawlessly.
Right.
It's like the whole community was kind of convinced that they would do it, and they did. And we are playing the upgraded major format.
Yeah.
So
all best of 3s.
I guess we just kind of started stage 3 here at PGL events.
So
but let's not talk about Astralis like they're dead. Guns back in hand, 5 versus 3. It's kind of been a tale of playing catch up to a Navi that's been in the lead. Astralis had it once. 4-3 on the T side, haven't seen it since.
And it's just like, look at the score lines in comparison. Everyone on Navi is putting in effort here.
And that's, on the desk, I think it was very well said that we look at Navi, you don't get that superstar. Maui Snake was, listing off all the stars that are on the top team. So if Navi want to be top 5, it's got to be everybody. And today we're getting that everybody situation. So it bodes well still for Navi's chances, as does this Alexi headshot with a bomb plant in tow. Stairs going to swing the doors open. That's not going to get Alexi off the plant. They know still that Navi have to scramble in this 2v3 post plant. It's low health as well for the Navi players. Oh, no. But Alexi finds another kill, and now it's been evened out. He's going to find the kill back to Wonderful. Alexi, 3 kills to his name. Hooksy challenges and finds it just to keep giving Astralis a little more hope. The defuse comes through in a round that should have always been theirs for the taking. 3v5 for Navi. Damn near to the limit.
When I looked at those KDs and my eyes naturally gravitated to Alexi, because I'm like, if there's one person who's like, you're not going to get someone on the level of a Wonderful on bid on average, well, maybe it's him, and he's also doing great. That would have been an amazing moment for him. Not an amazing moment for Astralis in a game where, as you just mentioned, we don't want to talk about them like they're dead. But even that getting scary and getting expensive kind of sucks for Astralis. They're looking for some confidence here.
Fast challenge as well. Sensing blood in the water with a limited buy for Astralis. Jabby's MP9 is a one and done, and Hooksy's not able to hold on for his life. So we get Ryu back into the kill feed for Astralis. It's the only thing that seems to go too well off that first Jabby frag. And his flank has now been found out, and the alternative end of the hold has been dealt with, so the bomb will drop lower. They know that Ryu had that lobby flank inbound, and this is just a clear picture for Navi as they'll gun for that 12.
It's by far the most energizing way to win a round. An upper pop on nuke, T side. Brain off, entries,
slam it
fast. Yeah. And that goes swimmingly here for Navi. Take 12 as well. Right after we just saw Astralis almost blow a like 4v2 advantage. Money's in the dumps. The wins are Pyrrhic. And it could be another single-digit loss for Astralis on nuke.
Spin your passion into a business with Shopify.
But it, does feel like Navi piecing it all together today does bode well, because it's 2026 that has started off with two incredibly flat events, right? Getting eliminated in their opening match of Bounty in the online portion, and online best of 3 coming out of the player break. It's very easy, even if you are Navi, even if you were the commentators of that game, to just be like, well, it's Bounty, that's fine. We'll see you guys in Krakow, right?
Yeah.
But then we didn't get to see them in Krakow. I mean, we saw them, but they didn't give us much to watch. This is excellent. And maybe, yes, okay, again, you're capitalizing off of some missed opportunity by Astralis. The force buy in round 2 that comes through, the bit quad Desert Eagle that then stops Astralis' momentum. It's all there for them, but there's not one weak link of this Navi at the moment. So I'm very curious as, Mirage is now queued up in this best of 3, a map that they should be very comfortable on. This is a statement opening to Cluj, and this is a needed event for EMA.
Real, it's just so it's so special for EMA and for the team thinking about it. Like, this is going to be more important for him than picking up a Krakow. Like, this is he got to visit this crowd last year. He didn't get to play in front of them.
And unlike Torji in Budapest, I'm pretty confident this crowd will cheer for him.
We'll see when they go up against FaZe, but somehow, I don't know, but they have to get there too.
It's first chance to close this opening map of play. Opening map of the day, in fact. And we've got a limitation in the hands of both Hooksy and Jabby. Stare, like the move. Kind of put in a tough spot, decides to make something happen on his terms. Not the first time either. We've seen him kind of challenge around this utility, right? The push through the smoke at the base of Silo in the first gun round. Now a challenge over top of the Flames here in round 19. Stare, called on by the desk to kind of get more done, has stepped up into these opening moments. And 5v4 from it. 45 seconds on Navi's timer. And a smoke grenade goes down towards Squeaky as they take their look towards Ramp instead. Can Wonderful crack this open? Does Ryu overstep? They heard that, right? They dismantle.
Yeah.
You hear the drop off. There's going to be a couple players coming this way now, so that's why we get this reinforcement called over. And Fuzi, Alexi B is going to find the headshot. Ryu gets traded out to the AWP, but now has to somehow couple with Bit at 15 seconds. He's got another one, and that's the bomb possession back. That's a main challenge coming through. Uzi's feeder's gonna be spotted.
Wait, why is he going?
What?
He went to Squeaky with no time.
Okay.
There was absolutely no way to win that way. Now, to be fair, from our perspective, like, he was going to die from heaven, probably. But you did have a player in mini to try to get that kill.
I guess it's one of those ones where it's like, if you're somebody backside, you're not getting away with this. Little do they know that you've got a player walking out on the ledge that would have been killed by the main player had he hard committed to his swing.
Yeah. It didn't feel like they were planning to save right away. They just realized it.
That's what it comes down to.
It's still impressive for Wonderful to read exactly where he was walking up on top of that ledge. Nice try.
Maud.
And at the same time, clearly not their 100% and only chance to finish off this map. The first of 6 map points goes the way of Astralis instead. And that's an Astralis that is now working with less utility. Ima's already challenged down into the vent. And that's going to cost him half his health. But we do get this challenge, I think, into Squeaky coming through from Jabby. He's lost in the smoke grenades. And if he does go through, he'll find nothing. This is Navi taking an early look towards Secret off of the Ima securing vents. Oof, there's still nothing downstairs whatsoever for Astralis. They're starting to take back ramp control, but it feels to me like Navi are just ahead of this timing. Although, because they're walking,
they're getting the info, but are they in a place that they can punish? That's the question.
Gets into the back of the bomb site, bottom ramp held as well, so he's not even operating on his own.
This is as good as it gets now for Astralis. They've just got this one last ramp guy who can come and help.
Confirmation, though, as the fast steps start to come through. Ryu challenged on both sides, not sure which door to watch. Oh, man, and he gets cleared out with nothing to show for it. But Stair's going to find a double point. He goes into the flames, and he'll bring one down, but burnt to a crisp. It's a clutch needed out of Stair. A 4K called on, and he's halfway there. Hands busy on the plant. Ina turns back around, and now with Stair out here in the open. Oh, he gets it! Stare at that. Challenge out through the double doors. Ina giving that space over for a second. Ina turns around and clears Secret.
Niciun comeback la Astralis.
And you're looking at Stair in the face. All of a sudden, Stair is given extra space, comes out from ramp already, and hits the shots he has to. That is 2 of 6. Now, the way back of Astralis.
I thought that round died with Boozy running through the molly for his 1 kill. And instead, Stair saves the day. This is real nasty by him. I mean, could you have optimized that a little bit more on the peak? Sure, but still, it was a very good chance of just getting the last remaining points of HP off of him and winning that round. So, Astralis, they endure, they continue, and they make it a 4-round game.
All right, on top of that, pistols in hand for Navi, which could paint a bleak picture, except we've seen them win these sorts of rounds. There's been a lot of X factor in the hands of these pistols. They'll take their sweet time with it, try to chip away at an Astralis that has been on the brink, right? It's 2 players that survived off of the clock 2 rounds ago. Stair, the sole survivor in that previous 1v2. Any kills would be very valuable here for Navi, but so far down in the 4v5. The ramp challenge not going to go their way either.
They've had a good track record in rounds like this, but it's about time Astralis just clean one up, no problem.
Seemingly exactly what we're going to get.
It's always when you say something,
I know, it's
right when you say it.
Every time. But that's all right. One death. One death on the side of Astralis. All we're going to get is a 3-round game, folks. 3 in a row for Astralis. 3 more to go.
Yeah, now nothing really matters. Nothing about how these past rounds have gone. Nothing about the first half in general is on your mind. You're just thinking about, we actually have a good chance at overtime if we play our cards right. Yes, we have to play better than we have been because some of these rounds have been way too close. But prove they can close.
Thing is, you're coming off of the final timeout from Blade. This one's burnt up. 3 red lights and you're done, Blade. But we know, we talk about it, notorious for round conversion off of timeouts are Navi. So let's see if that's all it takes. A few words from the mastermind.
12-8 acum.
I kind of threw Fozy under the bus at the start of this second half, right? Mentioning that his score was down there with Jabby and Hooksy, who aren't much improved. But Fozy has kind of collected himself and gotten up towards the top with Stair and Ryu. Got that presence online for the CT side at least. That could be a driving factor. Oh, they go for it.
Nice move.
Decide to interrupt Navi's plans with another challenge. And we've had those challenges by Stair in Outer. We haven't seen Ryu go that deep into the ramp play. So catching Navi off guard and establishing man advantage out the gate.
Oh, it's crazy what that does to the map. To get a kill that early, so cleanly, no trade chance, no...
Look at this push too, right?
Yeah,
Fuzi comes in through main. You've got two players in lobby. It's going to be Alexi blindsided.
Hey.
You've got these players inside lobby being given space. Fuzi is through the smoke, challenging the deep angle. Even though Alexi comes out looking at it, it's one of those angles that you kind of half-ass clear.
This is why all the top teams are doing so well off of first kills. You see how much Navi have to bluff about the map control they have and how much Astralis can make it worse for them with pushes like that. You can't watch everything when you're down to 4.
Nici nu mai știu pe ce să...
Now they're going to need a miraculous series of entries. And truly, we know they're already considering just how do they save.
Samsung Romania has
They're lucky for the time being that Astralis aren't going to, I don't think, consider chasing, though. They're all really pressed up against the glass right now. They might be able to catch some exits. Oh, and there was the one moment. But does this lure the CTs into a push?
Chat. Scoate Samsung telefon nou.
Big time.
Scoate Samsung telefon nou. Ești prost?
Can you hang on?
25 februarie. Live pe Samsung.
You could save, bro. You could save.
Yes.
Could have fully saved that.
Nu e să
There was
facem
no
live.
one getting up the ladder.
Nu
right
putem
there.
să facem live cu...
It's one thing if you want to help out
Cu ăsta.
before your teammate dies by shooting him in the
Aici.
back unexpectedly. It's another when you take that challenge after Wonderful is already dead.
That was the guy inside of all of us just thinking, ace, 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 ace.
Clutch.
Mamă, 12-10.
Cluj.
Hai să vedem.
Alright.
Well then.
That's incredibly expensive at a time like this.
huh?
$300.
Alrighty. Wonderful decides to fully invest since you've already got one player down on $300. So we've got a ace up their sleeve.
That, like some people might think. He doesn't keep the money. He doesn't keep his AK.
Doesn't keep his armor.
Yeah, doesn't keep his armor. Has to wait for 2 rounds of loss.
He doesn't keep our respect.
Yeah, and like, yeah. Let's see what you can do with this clock. That's your punch.
Boy. That makes up for all those force buy moments that Astralis lose in the first half. That is your golden ticket to get into overtime now.
Yeah, that's not a small mistake, especially if this goes to overtime. It's going to be largely because of Bit having absolutely no cap. Remember, he can't even buy himself armor for when someone can drop him.
I mean, it is players with less than $500 at this moment. But what you have right now is a lot of control lower. I mean, a lot.
No, there needs to be someone downstairs. Yeah, there's no one control side either. And you know why we call it control side? Because you need that.
Well, Jesus, take the wheel. We've got a retake queued up.
This might be Bit's lucky day.
Does he get away with it? And you know what's crazy too? It's one thing if this was just pistols, but you're retaking into a Kevlar AK-47 for Wonderful, and you find timing on the nade pull. Luckily, Stairs got it from the back line. There's so many players there ready for that kind of a push. Stairs multi-kill is big. The AK's not going to get picked back up. Can the Deagles do the job? Tech9 gets cover. Back of Center. And now this pinch into Ema, but time is of the essence. And he gets Hooksy up close. He's going to slow burn this. And Navi are going to win map 1 off of the back of
Ce le faci Aime? Ce le faci Aime?
It is a
Ce le faci
by
Aime?
Astralis here, folks. Nuke doesn't go their way.
Navi
No
1-0.
overtime needed. Navi queue up a finish
Navi
for
1-0.
Barrage.
Am I the only one that gets
Ne avem
excited
4 voturi
when
cu...
a player in his home country does something cool? So like, it's the final round. Imma's like, don't worry, I'm just gonna come in. Then I just get super hyped because I'm like, yay! It's not even playoffs yet, but that makes me excited. Navi got me excited.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be, right? Because Ema was actually at Cluj last year, but not competing. He was just here to be able to interact with, you know, the hometown crowd, so to speak. But now he has an opportunity, if Navi continues this trend that we saw on that map, to have a chance to play in front of this crowd. We know how special that was for Maladoy last year in Astana. And while Ema's a little bit more of a veteran, it's not quite the same, you know, romantic story. It still is one, right? You know, to have him have a chance, Locks has a chance over at Foot to do the same thing. And yeah, I'm with you on that one.
He was grabbing them by their hair and just dragging them. We will win this. We will keep going. That last round, I mean, what could Astralis have done differently?
Cât mai suntem? 2 cu 4. Haide, bă, măcar să avem și noi, deci... Așa, cred că putem să facem, să ne uităm la asta, la B. Deci pe stream B se joacă... Na, cred că stăm, nu, top astăm, top astăm, top astăm. Tot pe astăm. Uite că nu mai pe AM îl arată aici pe răz, nu mai pe AM îl arată. Șeful lor, AM, șeful lor e AM. Deci AM e, bă, e bossul. Șeful. Ce să mai facem și noi acum? Ia, bă, da stresul? Bă, da stresul? Face pe kick. Că stresul face pe kick. A, da, uite, face și, bă, mamă, face, are Jaxi. A, el are de 12, și prost. Dar asta e încă în București. Și ăsta la ce se uită? Tot la Navi cu Astralis se uită 1-0, se joacă Miraj și următoarea rundă. Stați așa că ne luăm copyright. Ne luăm copyright că... Mamă, și Jax are 700, are 600 de oameni Jaxi pe ăsta. Da, în fine. Băieții, revenim. Revin și eu imediat, ok? Revin. Bă, încă sunteți doi, e real. Nu s-a mai întâmplat nimic, că avem în 6 minute o nouă hartă. Și avem tot 4 voturi, tot pentru Navi. Mi-a zis un băiat să instalez Five Nights at Epstein. Oare putem să Steam? Putem să ne jucăm acum ceva? Mi-a dat cu XBet. Mi-a dat XBet. Cred că o să opresc asta, că după mi iau 50 de view-uri. Vă iubesc mult rău, bă. Și gândește că e doar PGL-DAY 1. Când mai avem meciuri de PGL? Hai, lasă că nu interesează. Zile bune. Na, 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 na. Ce să fac? Să mai păstim. Suntem 3. Dați voi like, subscribe, toate alea. Ce să ne jucăm acum? Ne jucăm un Geometry Dash? Aveți mă chef de Geometry Dash? Să dai cu 5 minute. Da, mi-a chef. Sau să punem, mă, să nu punem. Hai că te-am lăsat, am ieșit, te pup. Te iubesc, bă, duț. Mai intri și tu când mai ai tu chef. Că ți-am zis că nu o să fiu toată ziua aici la laptop. Gen, o să mai ies, mai fac, mai dreg, mai alea. Să mai intri și tu, duț, că ești modul meu, moderatorul. Mai intri când ai tu chef și să vezi dacă e ok. Succes la ce vrei să faci acum, duț. Succes. Nu facem deci zăpăcit. Mă, asta e că nu vă chat-ul. Te nu vă chat. Dacă o să nu văd eu chat-ul. Ok. Stați așa un pic. De cât suntem live? 2 ore. Mamă, de 2 ore? Mamă. E crazy 2 ore. Da, e și maker, mă. Deja 50 de view-uri și mai avem o zi întreagă. Talentul României. Ia auziți. Ce fană e? A început. A început băieții.
Beretta's in the corner hearing the footsteps come through, but no overcommitment out of Navi. Bomb is there. Never gets spotted, I don't think. We didn't really see it from Ryu's POV, but...
Momentan.
Hadouken.
1-0 Foot Esports cu Aurora și 1-0 Navi cu Astralis.
Navi are always meticulous.
Who was that? Yoga Flame.
Vedem ce se întâmplă.
Navi are always meticulous in these pistols, huh? You think back to the nuke play, the scramble back down to lower after you already had a 5v3.
That was Ness.
And now they'll crawl this one up through connector, looking to time off Bit, who comes through with the instant shot.
Flying. Fall bang.
While falling down the ladder hole. Glock upside the head. And Emet gonna plant that bomb. Covered all around him. No chance for Hooksy really to get anything going. And so Navi looking to gun away a T-side pistol round. What a start this would be off of the momentum of the close of Nuke. Alexi into the cover. You have given a bit of space over to Astralis, but that's just going to feed them out into the open, where surely Navi are able to finish off these frags. Bomb beyond the halfway point. Makaze's got Hooksy, and it's all good. Still 4 players surviving for Navi, and it's basically pistol to perfection.
There's just some positions that are so done. You know, you get the first kill that quickly, you get site control that fast, you have connector, you have default, you know no one's flanking a ramp because you were so fast. There's just some spots that are too tough to pull yourself out of. Astralis were in one of them right there. Brought to you by Bit. Plop. Oh, man. And maybe it's another game, another map here where everyone on Navi's frying.
USP is trying to mow down somebody. Anybody willing to dance with a pack of USP players. P250 keeps it honest. That is gentlemanly by Wonderful to switch over to his own sidearm, but it is mincemeat made of Astralis. And you know what? I keep trying to go for mincemeat of the Danes. You know how burnt into my brain it is that Astralis can be referred to as the
Navi
Danes?
asigură.
Right.
And
yeah.
it's just, I'm just sorry to, you know, pull it back, but
I don't think you have to
can't get rid
apologize
of
for
it.
that. If you like,
I can't get rid of it.
It was them and the Mongols, you know, that just had every single player in their country on their team.
The Danes. Astralis, the Danes.
And maybe, you know, JL actually joins the Mongols and just ruins every team. And not JL, but all the national teams. And who do we have left after that?
You've still got Aurora.
Aurora, yes.
MP7 at large for the open air, and Bit out of Palace has put an early mark on this round as well. They go smoke into the middle of the site, try to deny a little bit of control here, right? Fozu just looking to pop off his chest, be a looming threat. And he's actually going to take up that space behind it, so he's given himself this chance to kind of slow down the roll of Navi through this A commitment. Astralis are all here, all in the scene, ready to look, but the thing is, without anybody elsewhere and this pause by Navi, now they start to question themselves.
You see the difference between not showing a single person? Like, you've got Hooksy rotating all the way back around.
Still looking to come clear this out, though. Jabby crossing over to the site.
Okay.
He's going to go a little wider, and he's going to confirm they're here. Oh, finishes the sandwich kill. Can't snap over to the Tetris climb up. And Alexi catching an upgrade. Got Hooksy scrambling back in through jungle. As Fozy again tries to challenge this off of tickets. Stairs, headshot, connects, man advantage, collected. And Astralis going to keep that pressure up with Hooksy going wider and wider. And soon enough, you'll find Alexi, who sure can give a headshot back. But Astralis do a good job of getting out there to double check that there isn't something going down at B and still returning in time as well, right? They played with that window of opportunity in two directions. The departure and the return. And they returned before Navi actually pulled the trigger on the full fallback. And so this one is Astralis's for the taking.
Yeah, I mean, well put. And I think this is one of Navi's strongest spots, basically, is when they pause on A. And I think, you know, Astralis could have been worried about that, but they, like you said, handled it so well. Couldn't ask for better angle clears, better timings to come back to the site. They didn't overreact when they had Hooksy go over and check on B, just in case, to make sure there was no lurker that got ahead out of the site while everyone started running back.
Da, nu ne interesează, mă.
And so a very solid early response here.
61. Plus 28 în ultimile 2 săptămâni. Ești prost.
And a very early timeout call for Navi.
Nu e așa de early fall, că Navi trebuie să câștige runda. Știu deja că vă zic și... Deci... Stați așa un pic. Deci avem în felul următor. Clasamente.
Good on Hooksy. Takes a bullet to the head, still follows through with the Alexi frag, and really puts that one on ice.
PGL Cluj-Napoca.
That man had been around the world and back in that round.
That is really his Johan Liebert moment.
Și clasamentul ăsta.
Ooh. A few straight bullets go through that smoke, and suddenly Alexi B sitting on 30 health.
3 meciuri, cred.
Navi don't seem too timid about it. They're still going to take that challenge up catwalk, but exposed to stare is going to cost them a couple bodies. Alexi still fast to the tempo, brings that bomb around the catwalk corner, but by the time it gets around the corner, everybody is dead. Rock solid hold out of Astralis from the stair popping of the connector smoke for 2 into that B defense holding its own as well. We've got a tied game 4 rounds in.
So many moments for Astralis are just like 10 out of 10 on the setup here. And even when Stair is the one getting 2 kills off the cap, there's still 3 and B ready for the split to come through. Right after the blade pause, he comes in for the tap. Astralis have the exact right setup for the call. They read that thing beautifully.
Deci, vă zic în felul următor.
Dacă
Navi câștigă cu 2-0 și face cumva... Cine are ăsta aici? Știu. Cine joacă aici?
And sometimes his fingertips too, man.
Aurora cu foot. Face Aurora comeback.
You got to enjoy a strong Hooksy start
Dăm
because
la
they
Aurora.
don't always
Dar
follow
după
through
să
with
avem
the
așa,
same
Fizz clan cu
stuff.
heroic
You know what I mean?
și Mouse cu
He's got his
Paravision.
moments.
Scrieți mie la ce vreți să ne uităm. Scrieți pe chat.
creepy crawling underpass players. Look at a plaster stare on the side of connector.
Haide, mă. Câte vizoane avem?
Missed that. Oh, he missed that. That was kind of unlucky. He was really actively spotting, but now Boozy's in trouble too.
He's got the utility to try to soften them up, but he still feels stranded, and that is why.
Excelent time.
And that comes
Excelent
through
time.
the headshot, 2 Desert Eagle kills. They can't afford one like this, right?
3 cu 4,
Shades
3
of
cu
what went
5, de
down
fapt.
back on Nuke with these kinds of moments. Ryu's able to catch one. Jabby's headshot to Wonderful's
Dar de
good,
ce se mișcă
alleviating a
așa?
bit of that pressure, but Makaze hands on the M4 coming up through Khan. He will catch a second kill with that picked up gun. They sent him into window to grab the M4 off Fuzzy.
Wait.
Excelent, mă, excelent AM. Ce le face AM? Arată-le, tată, cum e în România. Arată-le, mă, cum e să joci în România. Arată-le,
Headed
mă.
for a 1v1. Immo with the fake plant into the perfect shot. Had to be a
Arată-le,
headshot.
mă, cum le joci
An
în România
amazing
cu
clear. And right
AM.
here, man,
Aute-l,
what a round from Immo.
Dude, 3 doozy Eagles.
Yeah,
Dar vreau să văd kill-ul ăla, că n-a fost
how
frumos.
wide he held inside of the window, exactly as Fuzi would fall back. It's just perfection in Cluj here for Immo.
Ima in Cluj.
Definitely glad to see like him on form for this event. That's what we're all looking for.
Dați-și.
Got a couple M4s out there on the field, but Stare's not hanging on to one of them, so he'll go down with ease. Hooksy takes a bit of control up inside of the B apartments as Navi continue to float out middle.
You can't spell motivation without Immo.
You've got a point, Wanders. You know, it's funny, Navi, obviously a team that many people cheer for. If it's the organization, they're absolutely immense history in Counter-Strike, right? Whether it's this roster specifically, whatever it is. Navi not coming to compete in Cluj last year was one of the few times where I remember like there was like a heated backlash.
Yeah.
Where it was like, how could you do this to EMET?
Yeah.
You know, whenever a player's not even given, it's one thing when you don't make the playoffs at your hometown or your country's event. It's a whole other thing to just not even compete.
I know.
We had him on the co-stream, like some kind of washed-up ex-pro.
Yeah.
This is EMET we're talking about. So, inside of the server, seizing the opportunity in that last round. Fuzzy, though, remember, M4 in hand, right? There was 2 of them on the field. He tried to make something happen here in the dying moments of this A commitment, and there's still this looming threat now that Hooksy's found a gun and a frag out middle. But Eman's got the cover. It's all good. Hooksy's challenge up through connectors. Nades come sailing into him. Does he have this? Is there actually a chance Hooksy with 4 health goes 1v2 hero mode versus Mid and Alexi B?
He just needs the ultimate IGL HE grenade right now.
There it is, and it's off. Big's going to jump on top of it. Confident to go into that challenge, and the low health makes it all the easier. Gets swallowed up by the aggressive bit move off top stairs. That's bit to 7-3 as he closes out the 4-2 Navi T-side lead.
I was really feeling like in the first half of Nuke, Astralis were going to make the upset happen again on map 1. But now that we're into Mirage and that last map is behind them, and Navi just looked like they were warming up the whole time, I'm definitely...
Yeah, and I think we can extend it like warming up throughout the first play of Nuke, warming up into 2026 as well. I think one of the reasons that we at the desk were kind of saying that there was upset potential really was because Astralis impressed in Krakow and Navi's year so far. 2 events, as we mentioned, and Bounty and Krakow were just so flat. And you think, okay, great, you did what you always do. You know, you peak for the major. They were in all the playoffs of the big ones for 2025. But with Navi, oddly, it's just never a guarantee. You never want to write them off.
You never know what you're gonna. You just never know what you're gonna get. Just they're a box of chocolates. And that's fun.
But sometimes you get marzipan. And I don't even know what that is, but I hate it.
Oh, you hate it? Okay. Yeah, well. You win some, you lose some. That's Navi.
That's Navi.
Sometimes you win big.
Sometimes you win majors. As the statistically least likely team to do it, too. Speaking of unlikely, pistols here in this one, but you've been finagled by that apartment's presence, and now obviously you're looking for this AK, so more attention sent towards Catwalk as bomb is just going to tiptoe its way into a vacant A-bomb site.
Perfect on the map control. They got the read, lay of the land.
Perfect.
They've got that, they do have that, they have that vision. Like, there's a point in the round where Navi know exactly what the setup is going to be. And then they have no fear. Sometimes they take a long time to get there, but you know, I don't know what other teams would say, but when I'm casting Navi, I always look at them as one of the hardest teams to read. They're funky.
Funky, that's a good word for it.
Yeah, they're funky.
Yeah.
All the off angles, all the weird timings. Is it going to be late round, or is it going to be late round? You know, you don't know which one. Some people have said with Jame that with Paravision, you know what's going to happen, but you can't stop it. I want to believe that with Navi, it's like that, except you less know what exactly they're going to do.
They ferment nicely, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. They get the flavors out. They taste like citrus ants.
Citrus ants. Whoa. This guy's got a palate.
Banned now in Denmark.
Eating ants?
Yeah, they banned it.
Really?
Yeah, those poor,
Why?
conscious beings.
There's a whole lot of ants.
They're people too.
Well, that's debatable.
Smarter even, in some ways.
They look pretty stupid from where I'm standing. Well, stupid's not the right word. Definitely up there in terms of satisfying squishing as far as bugs go.
Yeah.
Nice little,
that's,
you know, just a little.
Just openly discussing murder. That's fine.
Sometimes it's nice to feel like a god. Oh. Alexi was looking for that feeling, but instead gets brought back down to earth. Stare with the quick play. Man, he's had a lot of these today, hasn't he? These kind of opening duels in the first 10 seconds of rounds. We go back to the nuke CT side. Challenging Secret, challenging Silo, now off of the catwalk. Astralis kind of looking to stamp something on these early moments, but you get covered. Jabby is lucky that Ryu's there to save him.
I'm going to say I don't think he does that unless Ryu's there.
Okay.
So it had to be a bait. He just almost still died, I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's like there's a bait when you reload in cover, and then there's the reload and you're actually in the open.
And then, wait, my teammate who was watching me, it's time to start shooting back, but they get it done.
A 5v3 is a 5v3.
Just don't miss the stop shot, and this round is easy.
Another slow start for Fuzi today. And he had that recovery back on the CT side of Nuke. Last time I brought it up, he also had a recovery within it. So let's see what he can do in this one. It's easy pickings for the finish of round 8. Astralis looking for their third of the CT side, but to do it with 5 players alive, that is newfound success.
Yeah,
it's always come at a cost until this one.
Without overblowing it, I think what we can say that's nice about Astralis is they've got a lot of underrated things happening at the same time. Like Fuzi jumping up his rating by like 0.07 over this last month, just on average, a really good month. You know, maybe Stair needs a little bit extra on average to be really impressive for the, you know, better roles that he's gotten since the beginning of this lineup. Ryu, like, I'm so many smart moves out of Ryu. I'm seeing a long career out of Ryu. Just, you know, whatever happens, essentially, here. He just seems like he's actually extremely versatile. I'm always very partial to the Swiss Army knife players, and I see, you know, good as an anchor, good openings, good clutches, you know, smart moves here and there. But overall, it's not like they've just superstars with massive amounts of stats happening here on Astralis, which is throughout their history what they're used to.
Was he? No. We get that replay now, right? Ryu's stares, sure, but watching ramp when that walkout. And maybe that comes down to, you know, we had a quick conversation about like the communication breakdown sometimes at Astralis. This isn't a round where they lose because of it, The Ryu's not watching that connector smoke
you
on
can
the reload.
You see Jabby's like literally just using all his ammo.
Yeah.
So
and reloading loudly and standing in the open
that's
while
where
he reloads.
Maybe he asked him in Danish.
Ah.
So.
How about a flugel? He was like,
all right, I'll watch the ramp.
No, flipper for our connector. Man, oh man. But I love Danes.
The few remaining.
I can make fun of them.
Yeah.
And they're back. Looming threat of the utility. Ooh. Little re-aggression top mid, huh? Astralis want control of something. Don't we all? Locked into the angle top mid. They will sit right there. Not greedy. Jabby gets added in.
Yeah, they have the better setup, I want to say. They're still ready for this.
Ce s-a mai întâmplat pe aici?
Also watch top mid. Oh,
Navi.
comes through bottom mid.
5-3.
Kill.
That had to be a spray transfer, right?
Nu e așa de rău.
They're kind of on this wall right here, right?
Nu e așa de rău.
Top mid for the second one.
57 de viewer. Mi-a scris băiatul ăsta.
Ryu not able to get into the engagement, and he's going to lose control of the A site in the meantime. But the bomb's still towards that T-spawn. It's fine, plenty of time. Molly doesn't spread.
He will get cleared though. Yeah.
Bit's got it in the bag. Utility to try to block off jungle, but if he oversteps, Fozzy's AWP could still catch somebody off, including the bomb crossing at this rate. Bottom mid challenge gets caught out.
Excellent time,
Still, though,
excellent
that
time.
bomb's got to jump over, and Fuzzy goes for the play inside a connector instead. So that does give the space that Alexi needed to plant this bomb. He's going to have to reload this off the next shot.
No incentive for Alexi to
He's
move.
out of here.
It's an op in jungle. Even though he's got 87 health, we're talking about a smoke, so much to save. No kit.
No kit. But still, he walks back.
And everyone's dead inside a middle if there was one.
Gotta let it go.
Yeah. That was a nice sneak out from Bit. It's exactly what you want to do when you see a setup like that. There's only so many players on the map. If it's a 3-player mid setup, you know, at best, they've got like Fuzi and Ticket, but he was already spotted off of Cat. So Bit knew he could sneak out, maybe take a fight, maybe just walk out there. And then the molly to clear out connector was perfect too, because they knew that they had him wrapping around triple. So everything is just kind of perfection actually from Navi. One moment where maybe Hoaxy takes the kill back in connector and it's still going, but it doesn't happen.
Off opening the EMAP play out mid. Yeah, just line up.
Să trecem un pic pe zi.
Și bine v-am regăsit la un nou episod. De data aceasta ne vom mișca Minecraft. În acest episod aș vrea să construim o fermă aici, să facem frumos cu lanterne, poate să acoperim aici de... Mai trebuie să mergem în partea asta. După aia în partea asta și am cam terminat ferma. Bun, și după aia vedem, oricum nu cred că ne ajung semințele. Nu vreau să fie chiar simetric. Bun. Ce mai vine? Mai vine așa. Bun. Hai să plantăm și aici.
Now their money's teetering. They have a decent buy here, but it's still sketchy.
Oh. Jabby on high alert. Good clear by Wonderful under pressure there up close with the op. Nade perfectly at his feet. So I think Astralis will be content with what they get out of that forward setup. Although, did the nade hit? That's the question. If they knew that, maybe they'd feel a little better.
Yeah, and it is the opper, so we'll see if that really will matter. We're probably going to get Wonderful posted up in the B-Waps window to market with the exec coming out.
Deci 6-3 Navi cu Astralis.
A new smoke.
E greu
That's
meciul.
the cool thing about big tournaments like this. You always get new smokes.
Yes, of course. Boozy's gonna come through with the EMAC kill out middle. Oh, a second. Oh, a third.
Okay.
Just guns them down from the catwalk, gets away from the mid-play, peels one off the window, and the player in sight who is calling for cover gets what he asks for and then some.
Counter-terrorists win.
Well, let's put that in the highlight reel, shall we?
Right after he said he had a slow start again. Here he is. Oh, that was tough. Brother.
All is good.
First shot was crazy.
Oh, a chance to tie this up if they can swing together the next two. This is 4 rounds, non-consecutive round wins, back and forth.
Alex joacă eco. Joacă tech, Alex.
Does that bode well for Astralis? You'd think so when you check out the buy here that Navi bring to the table in round 11. We've got Galil's in play for the majority, a Tech 9 limitation for Alexi, but still Wonderful's op on the hunt for first contact. And he will
Excellent,
find
Wonderful.
his counterpart. That boost over
Excellent,
top of the
Wonderful.
mid-smoke has got Boozy down for the count.
It's nice to see Navi pulling out the setup victories. That's an early pick.
And the walkout A, but the back turn. Oh, good headshots here from Ryu. There was nobody else to help him inside of this A site. Had to bring it back then and there on his own, and does so.
It's actually incredible. He's still got 100 health after those 2 kills.
They're so happy with the timing
how's
on
the
finding
smoke
the
timing
first
work
kill.
out? I think it's still fresh enough.
Skip the deep corner clear. That's what cost them. Connector and stairs here for Navi. Everybody's so nearby. Bayou's down.
Excellent time.
Kills, all he's gonna find.
Excellent time. Excellent time.
Of the palace, but then stairs
Excellent,
does a
Alexi.
ton of damage. And that could damn well queue up Hooksy's 1v2.
Is Ima gonna go Palace?
Bomb planter found out.
Now he can't.
And now Hooksy's trying to figure out where the hell this last player's gotten off to.
He thinks it's ticket. The bomb is planted for ramp, and Ima didn't cross yet. He thinks it's just a 4-dimensional play.
Gonna try to stick this
Ima,
defuse. Oh my God, he's got it.
Work.
All right, why not? Hooksy goes right for it. Bomb is planted for Ima. It is right there to stop.
Ima's so low. He's just thinking like, he knows where I am. I'm gonna get killed on this first shoulder peek. Oh my goodness.
It's so obviously planted
Salut.
for ramp. For sure, he's holding me.
Pros
Dă
don't fake.
subscribe, bro.
Well then.
Dacă dai subscribe, te iubesc.
So it's actually a 3v5 because of Ryu here. The second kill is tremendous. And it's like he's an anchor, but you see that level of aim, it's like he really is. He's got 2 wolves in him.
Hey man, looking to try to make up for the round loss with an opening kill out middle. And he will do a good job of scaring everybody back. Bit comes through with his. Doesn't feel like Navi will skip clearing corners. Here's Ryu into the play and dealt with by Makaze. Buze already on scene though. And with a smoke in front of him, there's a looming threat that somebody presses up against the bomb plant, but now it is down and Wonderful freed up to try to find a better gun. Deagle in hand. 2 teammates on half health. MP5 in the mix, but Makaze goes big. Further damage done onto Jabby as well, so 9 health for him to have to somehow find impact. And Wonderful's got the headshot point blank on Fuzi. Another 1v2 for Astralis to try to tie up the CT side. Bomb is planted for Connector. And Jabby trying to push the issue with the USP is going to be dealt with by Wonderful. There is Navi, 1 more for the road, and what could have been an even 8-round T-side off of that Hooksy defuse the 1 round prior. Instead, 2-round lead going into the CT side.
Shades of Nuke. I think it's like both teams showed us some stuff here, definitely. It was interesting, actually, to see Astralis perform so well after the tack pauses. That was probably the most impressive part. But it's a volume problem right now. The volume of rounds is just not there to support the good rounds that we do see. In some moments, they let go of some better situations, and that's where Navi really have shown their fangs. I think it's when they're not expected to win, where they get the clutches. I think they're the ones who are coming up bigger in that on that front. And even though, you know, I'm crediting Ryu for his frags, his overall half is not that impressive in general. So again, another volume issue.
Mamă, mai avem o zi plină, e abia 12. O zi plină, mai avem 12 de stream. 7-5 pentru Navi în runda a doua, în meciul al doilea. M-am pus aici o întrebare, cine credeți că va câștiga? 100% dintre voi, din 5 voturi, 100% Navi.
I don't know if Astralis have done
Deci voi
enough,
ziceți
not
că
without a pistol.
Navi câștigă tot.
Two Berettas, nades on three. Navi always have a plan, don't they?
Mamă, double beretas la 2.
I love this crossfire. Let's see if it works.
Got the makings of a Beretta's
Bun,
hold.
wonderful,
Yeah,
bun,
wonderful.
Ce le faci wonderful? Ce le faci wonderful? Ireal wonderful. Ireal wonderful și I am cu ultimul kill. Ireal wonderful. Ce le faci, tată? Ce le faci?
Here's wonderful. 4 frag highlight from Sandwich.
Ce le faci,
Completely shut down on the
mâncați
cross.
aici gura ta?
Yeah, made easy.
Uite ce le-a făcut. Uite ce le-a făcut. Bă, i-a nenorocit. Bă, i-a nenorocit. Stai de mine.
Your finger gets warmed up and you're
Nebun.
just shooting super quick.
Spart. I-a spart.
I still think Zaiwu has the best fire rate to accuracy on Berettas.
Yeah. No, he's top 2 and not 2.
31 de subscriberi.
Okay, HLT.
Are, mă. Crește. Bravo, am. Bravo, am. Bravo, am.
Easy pickups here for Emet.
Ah.
Back-to-back quad kills for Navi. One in the
I
pistol,
am.
one in the anti-eco.
Ce le faci, I am?
It's gone.
And it's like it didn't even really
No,
start yet in the
5,
second
gata.
half. We haven't
Nu
even
cred
seen
că mai
what
poate să
Astralis can do
facă
yet.
Astralis
Already
ceva.
too late. That's how
Plus
Nick
că
felt,
sunt
that's
și
how Mirage is
CT,
feeling.
nu, sunt T pe Miraj.
There was a world
N-ai
where we
ce
got
să
to
faci la
overtime
CT
back
pe
on Nick,
Miraj.
actually. Astralis,
Nu, la T
they
pe
lost
Miraj.
to bid on $300 in a Glock.
Navi,
final
high
round,
utility,
so,
5 cu 5 cu 5 cu 5 cu 5.
We could see maybe a comeback, but we haven't seen enough good wins, enough strong rounds overall for Astralis to believe
I
they
am
can
tot
actually
acolo
make it
stă,
happen.
I am
Losing
tot
to
acolo
way
stă.
too many forced buys and ecos. I mean, straight up.
Bravo, am. Fără să vadă el atunci, prost. Cu flash. Cu flash a dat am.
And one of the few that we may actually get to see. We were waiting for this T side to
Cer
get
să nu înjur.
started, and it's already man down, but that's
Să
fine.
rămâne
Cookie's
și
got the recovery
poate
with the timing
bagă.
out middle.
Bravo,
Wonderful
am.
freed up with these angles from
Bravo,
Ticket,
mă,
deals
wonderful.
deadly amounts of damage,
Excelent
and
I am,
Ina is
bă.
hard to draw
Excelent
yet
I
again.
am.
Cookie's showing us something though, coming through with
59
another
viață la
headshot.
Huxi.
He's 11-9, top performer for
Vedem și noi în gama Doppler Phase 2.
That's not always a good sign.
Frumos.
Yeah, it's almost always a bad sign. Absolutely.
Bomba
Definitely is
moartă pe
today
site.
as well. No exception.
B-side wraparound. Think we'll patch
Excelent.
them off, but
Excelent,
Wonderful is
wonderful,
locked
excelent.
in, folks. And that is 3 rounds consecutive for the CT side of Navi without even
3
an
runde
Astralis
consecutiv.
bomb plant.
And I think we're overall
Pentru
just
Navi.
getting a poor performance out of Jabby today.
Yeah.
And I think that's somebody who,
Yep, true.
you know, somebody who I feel we get a lot of conversations about who can pop off and stuff. And
10-5.
when
10-5
Jabby played
în
on
al doilea
Heroic,
meci.
you know,
Ia să vedem
he
ce
was
fac
incredible
cei de
for a
la...
while. Like, truly incredible. He was the best player on the team for a while. That was a hard team to really top drag on because of the way they played CS as well. And
Hai, lasă aici.
I expect big things from Jabby, man.
Uite-mă,
Well,
62 de
Danish player as well as
views.
aggressive lurker.
Right.
It's not something you get a lot.
Mamă. Mamă,
Desert
ce
Eagle
i-a dat
X
lovit.
Factor moment coming through.
Bravo,
But is it
bravo,
false
Em.
confidence for Astralis? Trying to charge down this A bomb site. You've already got
Dar
players
nu
in
înțeleg de
position
ce
to
toți
hold
vin
what's left of Astralis. And
ăștia de la Astralis.
despite the deaths, Hooksy's turnaround.
Bine, cred că au la meciul ăsta.
Tech9 goes
Ba nu.
dry,
11,
and we
11,
have Navi
11, 9.
laughing their
11,
way through
5,
these
sunt
last
prost.
couple of rounds. It is another no bomb plant
Și cred că cei de
situation.
la
It is another
Orara
round
cu
that just
Fut,
feels like we are being led
cred
to the
că
inevitable Navi
sunt
2-0 today.
It does feel
sunt
like
greu
that.
cei de
It's
la...
hard to envision a different ending. You know, I don't see this being no country for old men right now.
Where is the
Hai să vedem.
curveball,
Deci,
Launders?
un meci și
Where is the plot twist?
e meciul Navi.
Who is the father?
Maybe we can get... This is Maury.
Acum că putem da... Zim ce se întâmplă la asta. Tot Aurora cu Fut. 11-7 Aurora cu Fut. Da, bate Fut aici. Bate Fut aici, clar.
Crushing feeling now for Astralis. You let
Bate fut aici, clar.
Despite it feeling competitive in the first half.
Bate fut clar aici.
Navi's ability to just kind of stamp out any embers has been excellent today.
2 ore jumate de Discord. Și... Dar nu știu de ce nu arată ăsta bine. 2 ore jumate de YouTube.
Game back in action.
Hai să vedem.
Back in hand for Astralis if they've got anything to show us further today. Time to impress. The missed opportunity by Wonderful to kick this off is still capitalized on a
11-5 pentru cei de la Navi.
Yeah, it might have been I don't know exactly.
11-5 pentru cei de la Navi, hai să vedem.
Sometimes it's tricky.
L-a văzut pe ăla acolo.
Be quite a crazy spam there.
Rău.
But also it's Emma and Flute, anything's possible.
Haideți pe serverul de Discord.
Sia. Ryu gonna catch him. Get the 4v4 back. Bit trying to peel away from the ramp, and this is starting to go well for Astralis. Damage comes out onto Bit, and he's not able to hang on to the bomb site. Ryu who comes through with the multi-frag.
Bun. A revenit ce-am zis că s-au dus, se duceau toți am și de asta pierdeau, că se duceau toți Sam, se duceau toți rași. Și pierdeau ca proștii.
A super solid map overall for him, but I just feel like it's so favorite. Whenever we watch him, he gets something good. Yeah, so he did blow it open.
Makes much more sense.
He was just in such a spot that it would have been kind of crazy.
Și pe 6.
Loving it, Ryu. Keep it up.
Posey getting caught on the crossover.
Well-timed grenade.
Now Hooksy's going to try to chase this down. He heard that off shoot from bottom mid though, right? He knows that Wonderful's down there, but Wonderful finding the smallest gap between the smokes and getting a shot on Hooksy before he could fade away. Lexi B head tucked into the B bomb site. All he's got right now is himself, waiting for that market player to slowly come over. Lexi B's going to spot it. He's got now a set of helping hands, and Ime Snare's going to try to come over, and Ime's got this coverage for his in-game leader to really slow it all down. Jabby scrambling top middle to get bomb possession back. Ryu just kind of has to do this on his own. That seems fine. Ime kind of a little lapsing cover there for Alexi.
This is a moment where you don't even necessarily go to him. Even though it would be crazy to go A, it's just that he's so low on HP. He's attracted probably 2 CTs. And Wonderful's coming around the corner, clears this out. It's a perfect move from Navi. Top of connector, clears cat, clears connector itself. And now it will just be Ryu here, ready to die.
And ready to close this map with it. The map, the match, it's all queued up now. One-off round win for the T side of Astralis. They meet their makers in the follow-up. It's another majority alive. It's another no bomb plant situation. So the best thing that we've had through this T side so far for Astralis was this, you know, Ryu 3K off top stairs. Whether or not you're starting this event doubting the likes of Astralis and whether they can challenge, what this confirms is that Navi are looking to get 2026 started, right? A clean victory in 2 maps, despite there being legs to stand on back on Nuke in the first half. This bodes well for a team that we know in a, you know, it's a funny thing to bring up, but specifically the Swiss groups, now all best of 3s.
Well, you definitely know that Navi, like their biggest issue is probably motivation. It shows when you get to the major every single time, right? That like they could always play well if they really wanted to. But you know, maybe Wonderful is really consistent overall. But an event like this with Emma here,
Navi o să aibă 3 puncte, cred. Vedem. O să vă arăt două primele două meciuri. Bun, AM. Bravo, Beat. Ce facem, mă? Ce fac, mă? Bravo, Alex. 3v2, 3v2, nu, 2v2. Polar și M4. Polar și... Mamă, mi-a dat cu un cap, Alex.
It is Fozy with the clutch
Fizzy
attempt. And he's not able to go for
versus
that long jungle lurk. And already Alexi has gone through the bench smoke. It fades. The cover's here by Wonderful. He's locked in on the ticket challenge. And so he's waiting for Fuzi to get in on this.
Alexi has a smoke as well.
Wonderful's going to go for the angle, but now a bit of coverage for Fuzi to try to move this in. And he'll find Alexi, goes for the spam. Missed off shot by Wonder. Oh, he got it. USP headshot for the close. He's got the kit he needs, and Navi will kick off.
Este, mă! Haide, mă, a bătut. A bătut Navi, 2-0. Și am închis și pulul. Asta, deci 6 voturi pentru Navi. Ați câștigat cei 6 băieți. N-a votat nimeni cu... Deci nu ține nimeni din Astralis. Astralis. Bine.
Convincing win for Navi here on Mirage. Obviously, we already built it up
Hai să arătăm tabela.
Let the series slip when they were not able to make Astralis or nuke that is as competitive as they would have wanted.
Deci, tabela e
Navi just looked
următoare.
completely comfortable on this
Navi
one.
un punct,
T-side, even though
2-0.
they roughly split the half,
Astralis e pe ultimul loc.
most of the rounds in terms of the quality,
Da,
I
sunt
just
multe
feel like
meciuri.
they constricted the bomb sites in the way that
Uităm
I
la
would
Aurora cu
expected.
fut.
Even the way that they piece things up towards the mid-late round, where it's just
Dăm un pic la Aurora cu fut. Unde era? Beu. Face comeback fut? Nu pot să cred. Nu, stai, sunt prost. Cine l-a meciul primul? Cine la primul meci? Stați așa că nu merge. De ce nu merge, mă? Zicea, nu știu de ce nu merge. Nu mă, fut a luat toate și meciul 1. Ia să am aici pe fut. 46% fut.
Aurora
46% fut.
with a late resurgence off of that contact mid-walk, and now 4 rounds straight. Couple of gun rounds, now an easier one.
12 cu 11 pe
With
aici.
MP9s and Famai.
Haide, mă.
Famine continually given opening kills.
Bă, nu știu ce are. Să zăpăcesc. N-am net eu. Stați așa că n-am eu net. Da, nu cred că stați așa. Dar asta s-a terminat deja, gen.
Ema coming from the underpass, they're taking con from you, and you got to do something about it. If you look back at the Navi games,
Beu. Mamă, ce mă enervează. Dar bine, mă, nu mai ține pe ăsta. Nu fi, ne vedem așa. Nici așa nu vedem. Nici așa nu vedem. Nu e de la mine asta, băieții, nu e de la mine asta.
Up other positions, but knowing that Aurora are all here, there is no way to force this kill. One runs through, but no time on
Da, nu, n-am ce să fac.
Interrupted them, and Akon got a couple of
Chiar
kills,
n-am
and
ce
that was
să
one of
fac
the rounds they were
aici.
successful on. But it's like
Nu
either
merge
you
B-ul.
need to be taking extremities, fighting for mid in the mid round, and being able to
Vă
take it
țin eu
back.
la curent
Or, I
dacă e
think the other big
1-1.
thing that really hurts here, and I hate to call him out, but Fuzi, for such a great Krakow event, this
Că
is a
ar fi
map where
tare
defensive
1-1
dynamic
cu
opting is
1.
so important, and that wasn't really there for them either in the first half, which always makes Mirage a little bit harder to control when you don't have that, because it's an
Ce
opera's
meci
paradise
urmează
map in many
aici?
ways. Some of the greatest operas we know just make so much happen defensively on this map, and we just didn't see that here.
Obviously, Emma, on your screens right now, Romanian fans going because he did have a really good start, and he was the standout on Mirage specifically. But if we the series as a whole, who was your standout player?
Either him or Wonderful. Your pick. They were both fantastic. I feel like Ema map. I know the stats might say a different picture. I thought Wonderful was the man of the map on Nuke,
Doamne,
and I
ce mi
thought
se
Ema was
întâmplă
the
la
man of the.
laptop? Să-ți ieși un pic.
And what he was standing out for, though, in this series is that his pistols were just ridiculous. I mean, I feel like I'd be shocked if he had more rifle and maybe op kills than pistol kills, because I mean, like, I'm just thinking back, so many good Deagle rounds on Nuke. He had the dualies round here. Even the very final round of this game, he jumps up onto default box, misses the op shot, then whips out the USP to get the final kill of the series. So I thought that was cool, that was clicking. Maybe I'd want more from the op, but I can't complain when he's having that great of a series.
Yeah, I mean, again, like we talked about the idea that, for Navi being a team that can be better than some of its parts, it's still nice if one of those parts could be a star-level player, right? That makes the game a whole hell of a lot easier. And Wonderful showed that he has that capacity multiple times throughout his career, most recently the Budapest Major. Krakow really fell off. If we could just have Wonderful find a way to idle somewhere in the middle of that, that would also be like a nicest consistent floor. And then to have ceiling games like this, I mean, it's always awesome to see that when he goes for the fast flicks, when he shows a well-balanced game. Like, yeah, it's always fun stuff to see him when he's in good form.
First game of the day is done. Navi clears it nicely, 2-0 up against Astralis, but we have 3 more happening here on the first stream. Also, the backup stream is going as well if you want to watch some of those games. We're going to take a very quick break. And when I say quick, you don't have time to go to the bathroom. So just sit right there, wait. When we get back, Mars is up against Paravision.
She said she loves you. But she can't love me.
But I love you.
I won't play window anymore.
What's going on?
Play your role. 1xBet.
The human body was built to move. Not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
That Cluj intro is damn sexy. I told you it was a quick break. Here we are. We are back, and we're going to be talking about the second game that's coming your way. It is Mouse up against Paravision. Dust, you mentioned it during the break. We'll mention it here as well. Our Cluj reigning champions. They're here to defend their trophy. And it is the only trophy we've seen Maz lift in the last year, despite them being a team consistently in the playoffs.
Yeah, you better covet that one because it's the only one in the cabinet, right? There's a lot of dust kind of collected around that one trophy, so that is kind of the one precious that you'd like to hold on to. But yeah, you're right. I mean, this is a team that, you know, hit the ground running when Spinks joined the team for that debut event in Cluj, where they beat Falcons in the best-of-5 grand finals 3-1, and, you know, got everyone really excited for them. But unfortunately, no more titles after that. But 12 top 4 finishes. So they've always consistently remained a top 5 force in the world, but they are just a team that has watched other teams pass them by and collect wins while they have not been able to do so.
All those finishes, all those playoff runs, we saw this at the major. Mouse makes the playoff, hometown hero. The crowd still doesn't get behind them, Maui. What is it about this team that it's like the fans, I don't want to say they don't exist. I'm sure there's a Mouse fan somewhere, but it's almost like they're just forgotten about in the grander scheme of things.
It's tough. I feel like Maus are in a position where the chatter is that they don't have a lot of aura. I think that's kind of what captures what's going on with them. But I just feel like they almost need a